Yeah.
So
I
are
don't.
mine, Benji, but that does not mean your video is technically good. Just because somebody says, "Oh, I like it," doesn't mean your video is necessarily good, does it? No.
Yeah, but then my argument is that Benji, you say you know stuff about editing. I personally don't think you know anything about editing.
But I could say the same thing about you.
Even though I can sit here and I can explain several different aspects, I've literally had people who've went to editing colleges or have editing classes within their schools for like, people who are and they're extremely talented in editing, and I can literally talk about things that they can't even understand and think that their professors would tell them.
Well, that's something different.
That's
That's not what
called
I'm saying. I'm
you're talking
saying
well, you're talking about
understand
editing.
editing from the from the perspective of watching it, because that's the only way you're going to understand a video. You're not going to
Yeah, but the
hear of a
point
video and automatically understand it, right?
Yeah, but that's the point. I've spent years trying to understand videos. I've actually literally looked in depth to videos and tried to understand many
So go
different.
ahead, point me out since we're talking about Benji's videos here. And yes, people can like a video and it be technically bad. That's why we have completely different section or completely different. I guess if you want to call them
Skill
a
levels.
hierarchy of editors. You have good editors, elitist pieces of shit, and you have shitty editors. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that's what it is. I can get a shitty editor to
yeah,
like
but
another shitty
that's what I
editor
was talking about. Like
that
for
doesn't
like
credify it or
that's why I was explaining why Benji's cuts are good. Like to me, Benji's cuts are good because what he
because
does
you
is
like it.
no,
That's
it's
why
because
it's good. There's no
no.
technicality behind it. You think it's good because you
I
like
can
it.
explain. That's the point. I can actually look at a video and understand why I think parts of it are good. Like his cuts, you say they're random. To me, there's actually like he
Not
spaced.
all of them. I didn't say all of them. I said some of them are. You linked me to a video of his. I don't remember what the hell it was. You
You linked me to an I no, you linked me to an IC of his, and you said this IC was garbage. And
after you told me to watch one of his videos, I linked you to the IC. I think it was the one with Mally.
I don't know.
But like
I
I
don't even.
said, your only explanation for liking or for saying his video is good because you personally enjoy it,
Oh,
and that's
I
biased.
just said right now I fucking like it because of the cuts too. You're
I
disowning the
think
cuts. I'm liking the cuts. So I like the video because of the cuts, because of the atmosphere, and the edit. That's literally when you have a raw video in front of you, all you have is cuts, and you have the mood, and you have the scenes. To me, his scenes were just fine.
not
His
necessarily.
his
Benji's
cuts were
videos
just
are far from raw.
in that video, in the sense that video was raw. I mean, unless you don't count
Which
fades as
one?
raw.
I don't understand which one you're talking about.
I'm talking about the IC one.
I don't even remember what the hell it was. It probably no, it was raw. I think it was raw.
It
But
was raw. The fuck it was that Fate Stay Night one. It was raw. The only thing that was there was he had fades and he had cuts. And that's all there was.
but that's
Unless
not
you
all a raw AMV is. A raw AMV is not all cuts. I mean, if that's
Yeah,
the
it
case,
is.
then what the hell? I can
Yeah.
make a raw AMV with a cut every other frame. That's not what a raw AMV is. A
That's what
raw
it is. A
AMV
raw
is one
video
basically without effects.
that's what I'm saying is it's raw of A and V's because it's nothing but hard cuts and fades. There's no photo manipulation. There's no TV sims. There's no nothing. There's no pan crops. It's just straight cuts with straight cuts with the scenes and the song he has available to him. That's
But
what
you're sort of throwing out the whole thing, the whole idea that a raw video can still have a concept. And
I'm not throwing that. I'm not saying that.
but that's what you're making it seem like. You're making it seem that a
That's
video, just
because
because it's
that's
raw,
no.
automatically has no concept. It's all based on its cuts. That's wrong.
I'm talking about the actual structuring of a video. Like the fact is, all videos have a concept, no matter how fucking bad it might be. All videos have a concept because every person in their mind had an idea for why they put that
Of
scene in a
course,
video.
otherwise they wouldn't have grabbed the scenes they did.
Yeah, but you're saying that I'm not. You're automatically assuming that I'm not including that in there.
But that's
That's
exactly what you're making it seem like. You're giving so much attention or directing so much of what you feel is
the point. Is you're more obsessed with concept and not good editing. That's why I'm arguing your point on that. Like I understand concepts and such too, but then there's a point where I'm talking about editing now, not concepts. Editing and concepts have two completely separate things as well. You know.
of course, but you're the one who said that Benji's videos were good because they have nice moods and concepts.
Yes, they do. Well, they do have that.
So you completely throw editing out the window and say
No,
it's only
no,
good.
no, but I'm saying I like both sides of it. God. Like you're trying to say I can't like one side or the other with that. The fact is I said that I
No,
like the
I'm not, but that's exactly what you're making it seem
No,
like.
I fucking said when I say he had good atmosphere and shit, I just said that and I just said his cuts were good too. So how are you saying I'm disproving either side? I just said he has good atmosphere, he has good concept with his videos, he has good cut work, he has I mean, like I said, he has good scene selection, and within a raw video he has the concept, he has the atmosphere, he has the cuts, and he has the scene selection. There's not really much else you can have there. If he
Look,
puts those together well, then that's
my
that's
argument to that is you only say it's good because you personally enjoy it.
But I'm saying no. I'm saying that there's a reason. Like that's the point. I enjoyed the video, but then I'm also telling you right now. There's a
Okay, so
point.
what if Benji told you? What if Benji told you that his whole idea for placing the cuts or doing whatever the hell he did was different than what you intended?
Well, then that's his idea, but that's how I see it.
So you base it off of
Well,
what you see it as,
if he
which is
wanted to tell me,
right, but
and if he wanted to explain his editing to me too, you know what? That's something I could take into account too. The fact is, he didn't though. So what else do I have to go off of right now?
wait, what? I didn't hear you. He did
I'm
it?
I'm saying is he's never told me. So in the end, I really don't have anybody else to go off of but myself for that.
No, of course. And he probably won't tell you because that's the whole point of an audience. That he allows you to take the video into your own perspective and see what you get out of it.
Yeah, I'm just saying this is that I don't just you're just trying to argue the point that I enjoy the video and it's good. I say it's good just because I enjoy it, and I'm just telling
That's
you
what
the
it pretty much seems like. Because
that's
you went and said that you guys are you and Benji are both better than Mani. In my personal opinion, I think you're completely wrong with
I
that.
didn't say I'm better than Monty. I
What
didn't
the
even mention
fuck?
I haven't even mentioned Monty once in this entire fucking conversation.
No, this was the one time that me and you had that discussion on MSN.
That's because you argued that these other editors were like better than Benji and shit, and all these other editors, and I
Who
was
did I
sitting
mention? I only mentioned Mani.
here. Well, I don't know. I think that Monty has his own set of skills. I'm not here to fucking argue with Monty about that.
Well,
Like
no, but that's the whole point. We're discussing it
Monty
while
has
we're here, right?
yeah. Well, Monty has his own concepts. He uses his own source. He has his own editing logic, and he's fine with that. Like I literally can't compare myself to Monty at all. Like I don't know. I mean, like I said, his Goodbye Brother video is good and such, and it has good cuts and all that stuff. But to be honest, and if I wanted to say something about Goodbye Brother, looking it back at it years later, I would say it lacks concept because
How does it lack concept?
I would only say that because the fact is he's one of those people who had to post the entire description for the story on his YouTube channel.
And
And
what do
to
you think
me,
is the reasoning behind that?
but that's the point. If you're watching a video, if someone just opens up a video on their computer, they shouldn't have to go and look a fucking text file for the entire story.
To be honest, with you, I didn't read Mani's description at all because it was long as shit, and I did not want to read it. But when I watched the whole video, I pretty much went back, read
yeah,
it, and I sort of understood the whole concept. That's personally what I thought.
Yeah, but that's the point. You have to go back and read that. And the fact is
No,
that
I went to go back and read it just to make sure I understood it like he
yeah,
thought he was doing. I
but
wanted to make sure I understood it the way
at the
he
end
was editing it and the way he intended it to be edited.
uh,
And what exactly makes a cut good? Like you said, Benji has good cuts, Mani has good cuts. What necessarily makes it good?
well, it's just like I said, it's just a lot. It's logic. Like like it's not just hitting beats. It's actually
It's not. But it also has a lot to do with flow. Because if you
yeah,
cuts
that has to do with flow and pattern. Like if you notice within videos, cuts develop a certain pattern. Like they're spaced a certain distance apart from each other as you look through a video.
of
And as
course,
you
and I mean you can't have cuts being placed the same exact way throughout the whole video because then you get repetition,
and that's the point.
excessive repetition.
Yeah, and that's why you also change your scene variety up because the fact is you start with the certain scene structure for the build up, and then you work your cuts that way, and then you want to work your cuts up and also ramp your scene selection up or down depending on where you're at in the video, and then you want to bring it up or down, and then you want to finish it off, with fast or slow scenes depending on the type of song or concept you're using, and your cuts and your cut spacings and how you use those cuts and what kind of scenes you use also change depending on that as well.
Well, see, here's the thing with cuts. Cuts are the easiest way to get through your flow because when you start to fade a video,
Fading is easy because you know what fading does?
it's
Fading makes it easy to transition because you
it
have
blends
this.
two frames together. It blends two
Yeah,
scenes together
blending is easy. Like doing a hard cut is more difficult because
because it poses a way, or it's a way of trying to set up your flow throughout the whole video. And most people probably don't even understand what flow is.
The point is flow exists in a video even if there is no fades. Flow is within any video, of course.
Flow is exactly. You don't have to use scenes. What the hell, who's texting me?
Fades
You don't have to have scenes. Or I meant to say fades. Just to have flow.
Yeah. Everything within a video, yeah, all the properties of a video, those all exist. Impact, flow, and not even impact within the way action editors see it. Like actual way of like the cuts and the actual scene coming to you, like and you feeling something from it. That's a point of impact too. Like intensity and emotion you feel from it. That's impact in itself. But yeah, I'm just saying is that that's how cuts work. It's like if you look at a video and you examine that, you'll notice that a person who does a good video, at least to you, well, if you notice a pattern, is like that. You'll notice like how their cuts are spaced. You'll notice maybe how then they transition to a different type of scene, and then how they change their pattern up as they advance through the video again. You
Right,
know.
of course.
And then there's other aspects of scene selection that then also dictate how you transition those hard cuts again.
But
Like,
scene selection is what really your flow is. That's
yeah,
really what
that's
you're.
what I'm saying. And that's but scene selection also in itself entirely determines your cuts. The
I
fact is,
think I think a good video is all about decent transitions and scene selection, mood.
yeah, yeah, that's a point of it. That's a
If
point
you
of
have if you have a good mood and nice transitions, it's off the way.
yeah, that's true.
Right,
That,
I believe impact really does not play as much as an important role in a video as much as scene selection does.
but the point is you if you have a good scene selection, then impact will come to your video regardless.
Not necessarily. Not
Yeah,
necessarily, because a
and
lot of editors have a bad habit to make a cut in the middle of impact.
I don't mean scene
that's what,
selection.
that's
It's
what,
more
that's
about
what I'm,
transitions.
and that's what I'm talking about. Good editing, though. I'm not trying to explain. You're trying to actually point towards those bad people. I'm not even going to include those
No,
people.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a lot of editors in general. You have a lot of good videos, and they have a bad habit to make a cut in the middle of impact.
I think I hardly think any videos are good. I think a lot, I think like 98% of videos I ever see are garbage.
Same with
And
me, but that's just a way to easily critique a video and actually point out. I mean, in the end, you really don't enjoy the videos as much, but with a mentality like that, you can actually critique a video.
yeah, that's the point. Is that's just as time's gone on, we've all noticed more about editing, so therefore videos do become less enjoyable. And that's one of the reasons why we think that the community is such garbage and why it's so hard to actually enjoy being within it. Because there's all these people who've been editing for as long, less time than us, or maybe they've been editing for as long as us, but they don't understand this stuff still, just because they're so ignorant to it all. You know.
Right, yeah, most people still don't understand a lot of basic principles, I
But
guess,
yeah,
with editing.
I'm just saying, I broke my style down into where I can explain anything about editing. Like, I can explain types of scenes. You have types of scenes where you have background movement, but the characters themselves might not be moving. Then you have scenes where the background might not be moving about, but then you have it where the character is moving. And then you have points,
But that's something entirely different.
that's
Like
scene
like you
select.
said before,
That's actually scene selection, though. That's a category of a scene right there. Or
right?
the
Of course,
scenes.
and that is scene selection. But then again, you go back and you say that we go back and when you said that what the hell? When you said um shit man, I'm going blank right now. I'm going blank. When you said the need to explain a video, most people explain their videos just because as they edit, they go along and they believe they're making a concept as they're editing. They really don't have a concept when they first start an AMV.
That's the point. Is I used to be like that too, but the fact is, as time's gone on, I can't be content doing that. I actually have a concept pre-planned in my mind that I work.
Exactly.
And
And that's the thing.
that's another point of it, as a, evolving as an editor. You actually get bored with just throwing in clips and making a 2-hour video. You actually want to make something with substance, and therefore you actually try to expand yourself.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, just because you might not understand a concept, whether it's complicated or not, just because you might understand a concept or might not understand a concept doesn't automatically mean that the concept isn't there. Because what if somebody else picks up on the concept?
Yeah, but I think that's another point of then pointing towards an overall view. Like you can argue that the concept was either gotten or it was not gotten, depending on the amount of people who actually get the concept. That becomes then that's a point of percentages. I mean, within single individuals, yeah, that's give or take. But then like if you start to think about it in a broad view, as in people watching a video, then you got to figure out what percentage of people actually get it, what percentage of people
Right,
don't,
but then
and what
if I
percentage
was
of
only editing for a sole person to understand my
that's what I'm
concept,
saying.
why
That's what
would
I'm
I upload it anywhere? Why would I not just send it to
That's
you?
what I know. That's what I'm saying is that, I mean, we're not arguing about that then. We're arguing about a viewership. And then you got to figure out
Well,
what
that's where
percent.
you get the understanding. That's where you find out if people understood your concept based
Yeah, that's
on
what I'm
the
saying.
audience and their feedback on it.
Yeah.
Most people point or write descriptions on what their video is about, the concept of their video, not because they went along and edited it like that and they said, "Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna write this bullshit down and I made this concept as I went along watching the video." No, um,
Yeah, but
it's
I'm
there
saying,
to show people who watch the AMV to
but
show
I,
them if they understood the concept or not.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, for some cases, I think that that's not a good argument because sometimes I think it really the descriptions put there because the person themselves believes that a person will understand their concept unless they have a story to read with it. The fact is I don't believe a video has a good concept if it has to have a description put with it. I
That's
mean,
not
like,
necessarily true.
but I'm saying is in most cases it is though that people represent a bad concept and therefore they have to put a story down in text form on a YouTube page or a forum page for a site they're sharing the video on just so people can actually get their concept.
Like I
And no,
said, I going back to what Mani's video was, Goodbye Brother. I understood the concept. You didn't. There's also a bunch of other videos. As far as Soup's Remnant video went, I understood the concept a little bit.
I understood it too a little bit, but the
But I
fact
mean,
is,
it wasn't perfectly executed, but I understood it.
well,
You
the
have a
fact
lot
is
of videos.
Well, the fact is, the fact was is that saying that video, it's like it kind of had like a structure going for it story wise, but at the same time, it just had these random scenes being put in as well, and then you just had overlays, and then you just had action blending, which then, of course, that was more of a pure try to sync up action type of thing instead of actually going along with a cohesive story, coherent story, whatever you want to say it, and that's I think a point at where it becomes mixed up, you know.
Right. But like I said, you can't automatically go and
I'm not.
infer that a video has.
I can infer whatever I want. It's my opinion. That's where you're.
No, but you
That's
gotta let me finish. You can't automatically infer that a video is terrible just because, or I mean, it doesn't have a concept. It lacks a concept just because he wrote it down. That's a completely biased and presumptuous statement to say.
No, I'm not. That's the point. I'm just saying is that
That's
in a lot of cases,
presumptuous. You're identifying yourself and
that's the point is if I can't understand a video, and then if I can't understand a video at all, just because it seems like it's action, it's nothing but
no, that's the
action.
thing. Most action videos, you look at it, videos that are slower and slower paced, more drawn out videos that don't have as much action usually have a more concept. Why? Because you have to
And
integrate
that's what
better
I'm
scene.
saying. That's what I'm saying. For me, with Manny's video, it's the fact was that I didn't see the concept that he typed down. The only thing I see is that it's just a Final Fantasy action video. You get you had the blendings, but you had the scenes with Kadaj, and you had the scenes where Cloud is fighting and all that stuff, and then you have the points where it's changing into Sephiroth. But in the end, that's really nothing more than just the concept of a regular Final Fantasy video. And like I said, I didn't say that to have yeah, like to me, the video, like I said, he had this whole story typed out for it, but to me, it was just nothing more than a Final Fantasy action video. And
I
to me,
mean,
that
that's all. I mean, to me, it sounds like you have more of a simplistic view on AMVs. You look at a video and you expect to see the concept no matter what, no matter who edits it, no matter what it is.
that's how a proper video should be edited.
No, it's not, because
Yeah, it
that then you
is.
automatically make a video simplistic. And,
No.
and you know just as well
Well,
as I do. And if you're wrong, a video that is completely simplistic, there's nothing complicated about it, whether the editing or
but
the
there's a
scene
point. But
selection
there's
or
a
the
point.
concept.
But there's a point in complexity where the problem is that there's a limiting aspect of AMVs that you can't have within movies. Movies can have extremely complex concepts because there's actually backdrops and there's actually dialogue and it's longer drawn out to actually develop a complicated concept. With
Well, that's the whole
AMVs,
point. We're talking about AMVs, not movies. Movies are
that's what
completely different.
Dude, I guess the point is you don't compare them. I compare AMVs in movies. The fact is
Okay,
I'm an
peace.
I'm an editor. I do editing theory. So for me, everything that I do within videos is actually comparable to when movies and actual editing theory itself.
Hey, say goodbye to me.
Bye.
Bye,
Go get the hell
Eagle.
out of here, you
Fuck off,
Okay, thank
Eagle.
you, man.
Fuck
pussy.
off. All right, bye, bitch.
Man.
Anyways,
But
here's the
yeah,
thing.
that's the difference. Also, is that I explore. I actually like I'm one of those people who, like I said, I actually compare movies, trailers, and other stuff to actual AMVs because there's an editing theory that actually applies between all of them if you're a proper editor.
Right, anything that is edited has an editing theory behind it. I mean, of course, but
But
that's
there's
not
a,
what I'm saying.
but I'm
I'm
saying,
saying
but
that
that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm telling you is that with
I'm saying that
AMV,
you are expecting a video to have the concept right there, almost the same exact thing. You're trying to make it as obvious as a text writing. It should be as obvious without having to write it. But that's the whole point of complicated.
That's the point of a well executed concept. The fact is, you can have a complicated concept, as in you can have a lot of stuff going on, and you can have an evolving story. But the fact is when I say it doesn't need to be complicated, I mean it's like it should be something that a person can actually watch and understand as they're watching
Well,
through
hold
it.
on. If you're editing a video, let's say I'm editing I don't know a Final Fantasy video. If I'm editing a Final Fantasy video and I make a concept that's simple to understand, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same thing as another video or more videos of the same idea. I mean, simple concept.
Yeah,
A simple
yeah.
concept. You got to think about it. When you're
That's the
editing,
point.
you
Yeah, I
want
know.
it's better to have a complicated concept sometimes if you can
Yeah.
execute it right,
Well, that's what I did
because
with.
you
Yeah,
bring
but
something new to the table. You bring new material, not new material, but a new sort of concept into it, and it
yeah,
seems like
but a new concept. I know, I understand that, but like your idea of a complicated concept is like you say with that Final Fantasy video is like I don't know what to say. It's just like you're arguing these points. You're like they have complicated concepts and such, but the fact is that they're not. The fact is you're the videos you're arguing for don't bring anything new to the table when you're saying they have a complicated concept
no,
kind
no,
of
no.
thing.
That's the thing. You don't understand it. That's why it seems like that.
Like you're stupid. I'm still gonna say you're beta. You're saying it had a complicated concept, but the fact is it was just nothing but pure editing garbage.
That's not what I'm saying. And it was editing garbage. The editing sucked.
And if
But
you
I was
that's the
trying to go
point,
off
that's
a
the point. That's what I'm
completely
saying.
complicated
Yeah,
concept.
and that's purely it. If I say it has poor editing, I'm also saying it has poor scene selection and it has a poor mood to it. So to me, that's the point
So
with that
if you're
video.
automatically saying a video has poor editing, you're saying that
I'm no,
everything about
I'm
the video is
you're
bad.
fucking assuming a billion things from one word I say.
But
I'm
because
just
you're making it seem like that, how am I supposed to know what you're
that's
trying to
the only
say?
person who's assuming this is you. If you've noticed in this entire conversation, have you ever assumed anything like this at all, Billy or Benji or Manny? From what I've said, uh,
They're not responding.
Benji says no.
Yeah, and Benji's your butt buddy too. I mean, look at him. He will disagree with me for anything just
What
because he
about
does not
okay?
like me.
Let's listen to Billy and Manny then too.
This is true. See, of course. So how are you gonna ask somebody as biased as Benji?
And I'm asking for Billy's opinion too
We'll see
because
what Billy's opinion is. I don't know why Billy's not talking.
and then there's Manny's opinion. If Manny feels like typing if he wants to, and that's the point is you have your friend in here and I have my friend in here. So in the end, this also is its own thing.
No, not necessarily because Billy doesn't hate you. Billy likes you as I mean,
But he favors you though.
I don't know about that, probably, but that has nothing to do with it. Because think about it like this: you're automatically, like I said, you're saying that if
And the only reason Benji hates you is because he thinks you're a fucking retard when it comes to editing. That's the only reason Benji would ever
but
say
I would
that.
say that to him, and no, that's not why he hates me. He hates me because I talk shit about him. He's a faggot,
That's the point because you think
and he tries to deny the fact that
because the point of that he thinks you're an idiot in editing. So
no, he does not like me as a person because I talk shit to him and I piss him off. And no matter how much he says I don't, he knows it's true. And that's beside the point. That has nothing to do with editing. What I'm trying to say is you're bringing. When have I said that you? When have I said you don't piss me off? You perceive yourself to be some tough, tough internet gangster. I'm Benji. Beware. That's even how you. No, that's even how you. You've
see
even said
you
it before. When you try trolling me, all you do is say, "Oh, why you mad? Why you mad?" That's the only thing you can ever do when you're trying to troll somebody. That's the only thing you ever do. Why are you mad? You pretty much go back to the concept of why are you mad. Either way, this is all beside the point. I'm saying that you're automatically,
you're like a Georgie when it comes to editing, right?
yeah, and I could say the same about you.
Not really. I'm willing
Why?
to accept other people's opinions.
Why? Because you're saying that a simplistic concept is better than a complicated concept, even if they're both executed perfectly. You're saying that a simplistic concept is better. Why?
The problem. I'm not
That
saying
makes
that. I'm
every
not.
video saying there's no originality in a
I didn't say
simplistic
that.
concept, right?
I didn't say. You've been assuming that when I say simplistic to understand that I mean simple concept. When I'm saying a complicated concept, I'm saying is complicated concept that's easy to understand. The
Well,
fact
hold
is,
on,
you
hold
can
on. When you're editing, you're only limited to the source that you're using. If I'm
not.
editing a certain AMV with a certain source, it all
You
comes
can
out. I'm limited to whatever is in that source.
not
So
truly,
if
not
if
truly.
I make a concept that's simple to understand,
You can take the source. You can take that source and you can manipulate it and you can give it a whole different mood, or you can even give
right?
it a
But
whole
you're only
different.
limited to it. It's not like I can make something a completely different character out of that source. How is that even
Actually,
possible?
you could do that. It's all about creative scene choices, or even if you.
You
It,
cannot. How can I possibly take a person out of a series and add something that is not even in the or in the footage in there in the source? Add something.
it's the ordering of scenes and how you actually
There
progress
is
those
no
scenes through a
way you
video.
can possibly do that without original animation or anything like that.
Yeah, yes, you could. The fact is
So
that the
cool. Tell
scene.
me your
Let's hear
explanation to it, and let's see if you're
because
assuming me wrong or if I'm assuming you wrong. We'll see.
what
Go.
I'm just saying is this: within a scene, within a source, whatever source you have those scenes there. But the fact is, each one of those scenes contains its own type of emotion, its own sort of backdrop, and basically, you have these people with their facial expressions or their backgrounds or what's happening. The fact is, these scenes are all available to you, and if you're developing a concept, you can rearrange the order of these scenes
And
however
is
you
that
want.
not all going in favor of my complicated concept theory? Is that not what I've been saying?
I never. Yeah, now you're assuming that I said your complicated concept theory. I just said that complicated concepts are okay. I'm just
So are
saying.
you saying that a simple concept is good?
I'm saying they're both good. That's a fucking point. You're thinking you keep assuming that a person
You're not
has.
explaining. You're not explaining. You're
I'm
half-assing your
trying to because you're
statements.
fucking arguing every fight. You're being a Georgie in the fact a person tries to explain and then after like 6 words you come in and you start saying they're fucking wrong. That's why people are getting pissed off at you.
Listen,
I'm saying
listen.
I'm
Here's what
listening.
I'm saying.
Hey,
You are not. You're not.
just let me finish then, okay? You want to hear my argument? You shut
Go.
up. Listen to
Finish
me
it.
then. Good. I'm trying to say is they're both fine. I was saying is a simple concept is okay. Maybe a simple concept is good if like you said, a good video and a simple concept is good. Like you said, it won't set the world on fire because maybe it's been done before, but that is still a good video. And then there's the fact is maybe it's a simple concept because maybe the source has never been used before, or maybe that was just their intent all along. And then there's complicated concepts with either sources that have never been used or sources that have already been used. But the fact is that a complicated concept needs to be executed really well that to where people can understand it. The fact is that, like you said, we're working towards a viewership here. So, I mean, when you're editing a video, there's fine that your concept in your head, but then you really also need to dive into the mind of what anybody might think about this video and try to best adjust your scenes towards what you think they might see it as, I'm just saying is that a video can have a complicated concept, but it needs to be easily understandable to the audience watching it. The fact is, like you say, is that it might take time to develop, but the fact is that a person should at least have an idea starting off, and then that idea should build up into a whole story in their mind, or at least being able to go, oh, this about this. Yeah, I'm just saying is that they're both fine. And I'm just saying is that with either concept, a simple concept or a complicated concept, you have to just be able to understand them. So yeah, they're both fine. They're
So
both
then,
fine.
is it my turn now?
Yes.
All right. Like I said, complicated concept brings in originality. If I use a simplistic concept, one that has always been used
I
before.
just said this.
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Just
Slow
that
your
the
roll. 1 second.
world on fire. I even admitted that
Hold
it
up,
won't.
hold up, hold up. I gave you your turn. Now give me my damn chance.
Oh,
I said that a complicated concept brings in originality. Now, you're saying that it needs to be understood by mostly all your viewers. I mean, sure, you're going to always have one that says, no, this shit I didn't understand it at all, or it sucked, whatever it might be. But you're making it seem, I never said you are, you're making it seem that you, personally you, Justin, are the only person that needs to be interested by this video. The only person that has to understand this video. Other than that, everybody else is a dumbass. And in that case, if you don't understand a complicated concept, but yet somebody else does, what does that mean? Does
and
that
that's
mean
not,
that they did a bad job? What if I make a
in my
complicated
opinion.
concept,
Yeah,
but I don't understand, or you don't understand it, and Benji does? What if that's it? What if that's
and
the
and
case?
that's what I admitted. I admitted that. I even
No, it
admitted
means
that.
you're a dumbass then, because you can't
No,
understand a complicated concept, and then you
and that's the
automatically
point. Now
say
you're making an
that a
assumption that I'm a
simplistic concept
dumbass.
is better.
And now you're assuming I'm a dumbass just because I don't understand the concept. It's because I'm
You didn't
different
hear
as a
what I just
person.
said. I said you're a dumb. I'm saying you're a dumbass if you go ahead and say, "Oh no, I didn't understand the concept, so it must be bad or it must not be there." But
And
yet
that's my.
somebody that you say is a good editor like Benji understands it. How
You
does
know
that even?
what?
That
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
weigh each other. That
and
makes no sense.
that actually makes sense because people
How
don't
does that
even
make?
even people who are skilled see things differently. Like you said, a person because you're assuming that then that everybody who's skilled sees videos in the exact same light.
No, that's
The
not what
fact
I said. I just even put up another example of two people that don't have the
I
same
don't
perspective on a
no, and the
video.
point is, of course, my opinion matters to me, and like I said, I'll understand other people's opinions. That's why
But
I'm
you're making it
admitting.
seem that your opinion is the only one that matters.
No, I admit. Like I said, I'm saying. Well, to me, it matters to me because
Of course it
I'm
does,
me.
and it should.
Because
It should. If it didn't
and that's what
matter
I'm
to you, that'd be
saying. That's what I'm
ridiculous.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Of course, my opinion matters to me. And that's why I take priority over my opinion over anybody else's because it's
Of
me
course.
looking at a video and seeing that.
Of
I'm saying is
course.
that you. That's why. That's why I'm saying right now is I accept the fact that even within skill editor ranks, there's people who won't understand a video as well as other people might. It's called being different as people and seeing things in a different light because maybe you see something different from the source. Maybe you've never seen the source before, or maybe to you the editing makes no sense in comparison to someone who is maybe as skilled as you but that has their own perspectives on editing, and to them it seems completely different. I'm saying
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that it's all
yes,
perspective based. You can't automatically say that a video lacks a concept.
I
In
know.
your
Well,
opinion, it
I
does.
That's what I'm saying that's what I'm saying. If I'm saying this, then I'm obviously saying it from my opinion. You're saying it like I'm some abstract figure, not referring to myself. If I'm saying something, it's obviously because it's referring from me. This we're talking here between about you're talking on you and I'm talking off me, and we're both talking about off what we think of editing. So obviously, an assumption has to be made. Is usually if you're talking about something that usually you're referring to what you think, unless you otherwise state that you're referring to what someone else has said or does.